Anybody in the United States can request a government document through the Freedom of Information Act. But what we often don't know is what's happening inside those offices that are processing the requests. So, among the State Department changes that I've been reporting on over these weeks come changes inside the Office of Diplomatic Security. And I'm not talking about the 69 officers, 48 civil service, 21 foreign service who were cut. I'm speaking specifically about 7 who were cut inside the Office of Diplomatic Security's FOIA processing center. There were 7 people who were cut there, and they basically are processing requests to do with counterintelligence and law enforcement. So I'm told that they were people who were former military personnel, intelligence veterans, people who understood weapons, understood tactics, sources, methods. They also are people who have relationships with the special agents who work in diplomatic security. And that is part of how these requests get processed. And keep in mind that the Office of Diplomatic Security, they were the ones who investigated Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server. And so obviously there were a lot of FOIA requests around that. Well, a person with knowledge of the matter has told me that initially, when this office was demolished in the recent changes this summer, that meant that the responsibility was supposed to go to the State Department's main FOIA office called Information Access Programs Directorate, IAP. But then this person learned that those officers were, quote unquote, very angry that the FOIA office in diplomatic security had been cut. And then they essentially said, no, we're not processing these FOIA requests. We do not have the ability to do this. We don't have training in this. We don't understand how to do it. And they also don't have the relationships with people inside diplomatic security, with those special agents. Now, why does this matter? I mean, I talked about Hillary Clinton's emails for a second there, but we have seen major cases around FOIAs popping up in the news. There is the $400 million plane that Qatar gifted to President Trump. That brought up a lot of counterintelligence concerns among people that I spoke to, including the fact that some of the parts might be sourced to China. But there is now a FOIA lawsuit to try to understand with the Justice Department what memo showed the logic behind accepting this plane. Of course, then there's also the Epstein files. And FOIA master Jason Leopold, who works at Bloomberg, reported just a few days ago, quote, an FBI FOIA team redacted Trump's name from the documents. Now, to be clear, this was done in years ago when Trump was a private citizen. And just because Trump's name was mentioned in these documents doesn't imply that there is wrongdoing. But these are examples of why FOIA cases matter, and we don't know what's happening at the Justice Department or some of these other places. I'm only giving you a lens into the State Department and the Diplomatic Security Office. So back to that office. Right now, it's unclear to me who's taking on these responsibilities. It could mean longer wait times. It could also mean that there are potentially errors in final releases. There are implications for transparency here. And I did contact the State Department press office, but as of right now, I have not heard back. I also called up IAP, the centralized office, to get their take on things. Also haven't heard back there. Anyway, it's Friday. Have a great weekend. If you're appreciating these videos, I would appreciate if you support me by becoming a paid subscriber so I can keep doing this work. And thanks for watching.